What would a Russian victory really mean for Ukraine and the rest of the world? What would that look like?
All right. Well, the first thing is that Ukraine will be immediately turned into part of the Russian war effort, and soldiers will be given very clear ideas. If you don't fight for us, you die, and they will, kill a few leaders and things like this. The leadership will be killed, and Russia would take over the country in the same way that it would take over any other place. Maybe not all, maybe only a large chunk of Ukraine, but enough to neuter, enough to take the resources that are in that part, because a large amount of the resources are still on the other side of Dnieper. They're not on the western side; they're on the eastern side. So remember, all the wheat is on the eastern side. So having done that, he's then got the capacity then to start blackmailing other people, especially with terms of wheat, because if he gets wheat, he's going to have I saw some figure, something like 12% of the world's wheat, which is enough to actually to dominate the markets. And that's the first thing. I mean, the second thing is that then immediately there is extreme vulnerability for whoever he decides to go to next, whether that's Finland, whether that's Norway through the top, whether that's so you could watch something like Svalbard disappear very quickly into Russian territory. You will see Georgia disappear very quickly into Russian territory. He's not going to stop. He may, as I say, he may take a break and actually rearm. But the West hasn't done anything when the war is going on. So do we think that they would do any rearming? I don't. I just don't see it. I don't see that the understanding by our politicians that we are actually at war today, and that this war is the most cleverly fought on the Russian side of any war that anybody's been fighting for forever.
I'm in Germany and I see a huge resistance to the acknowledgement that the hybrid warfare is even taking place. Even
Yeah.
though there's evidence of this in political movements, protests, who's at protests, who's paying for protests, what kind of ideas. How do you convince a country that they've been infiltrated?
Only by high level politicians speaking out. And speaking out firmly and strongly, and going on television, on the news, and saying, people, you have to understand that we have an enemy within. But they don't want to believe it themselves. I think, they don't want to believe that someone that they've known for 10 years has actually been bought. Someone they think is a friend. Well, this is the case. I mean, if you go now, when I worked in Bulgaria, people didn't believe when the documents were opened about who had been working effectively for the Communist Party inside the military. They didn't believe at first that some of these people were genuinely working on the other side, and they tried to smooth it away. No, he's a good man. No, he's this. No, he's done that. But the truth is the truth in these things. There are lots of people that have been bought,
But
and
how
more
is this?
more than we like.
But is it as people think being bought is, where you're handed cash? Isn't it usually favors or
It's
influence?
everything. It's everything. It's whatever the weakness is of the person, whether that weakness is, whether that weakness is money, whether that weakness is sex, whether that weakness is power, influence. It doesn't matter. They'll try and pin down what each person is, his weaknesses, and then they'll work on that. They'll work on it, and you can see it once you know what you're looking for. It's a lot easier to see it. I mean, at least none of us dance with Putin at our wedding.
Ugh,
You know,